Welcome to the Wokest Warren, where we have the Wokest Discourse. As promised, this is part 2 of my study of Georgi Dimitrov. Again, we're reading a speech that he gave to the Communist International in 1935. And it is entitled The Fascist Offensive and the Tasks of the Communist International in the Struggle of the Working Class Against Fascism. Okay, so where we left off, I'm going to reread this quote because it's so funny from last time. I went over this last time, but I'm going to pick up with this again. Many comrades did not believe that as reactionary a brand of bourgeois ideology as the ideology of fascism, which in its stupidity frequently reaches the point of lunacy, would be able to gain any mass influence. This was a serious mistake. So, again, this is like common with fascism, that it's too stupid to take seriously. You're like, these people are buffoons. Like, how can I take them seriously? They're totally stupid, incompetent losers. You know, they're never going to be able to do anything right. They're never going to be able to accomplish anything. And that's a mistake because they build concentration camps. That's what they do. So I'm going to move on to where we left off, which was part 3, entitled Consolidation of the Communist Parties and the Struggle for Political Unity of the Proletariat. Self-satisfied sectarianism will not and cannot understand that the leadership of the working class by the Communist Party does not come of itself. The leading role of the Communist Party in the struggles of the working class must be won. It is necessary to earn and win the confidence of the working masses by everyday mass work and correct policy. This will be possible only if in our political work, we communists seriously take into account the actual level of class consciousness of the masses, the degree to which they have become revolutionized, if we soberly appraise the actual situation, not on the basis of our wishes, but on the basis of the actual state of affairs. Patiently, step by step, we must make it easier for the broad masses to come over to the communist position. That's what Dimitrov says. And then he quotes Lenin. We must not regard that which is obsolete for us as obsolete for the class, as obsolete for the masses. That's from left-wing communism and infantile disorder. So this really hit home for me because people ask me all the time, why do communists fuck with the Democratic Party? The Democratic Party is class collaborationists. And I say, you're right. And I also don't think that we should fuck with the Democratic Party. But one good response to why people will like work with the AFL-CIO and like partner with the Democratic Party to do things like support Sherrod Brown. Okay, the reason why that's not like a totally stupid thing to do is because whereas elections may not be important to me, I feel like elections are pointless for the most part. I mean, you still go up and pick your city councilman or whatever. Or you can have you can make a difference on like your garbage getting picked up sometimes. But in terms of the dictatorship of the proletariat, elections are useless. So I'm like, whatever, fuck these elections. But most communists in the United States get like really involved in the elections. And that's because the elections, the level of class consciousness that people are not at the stage to seize the means of production. People are not at the stage to seize anything. People are completely fucking brainwashed, totally propagandized, and basically sheep. I mean, I don't mean to say that they're like sheep and that they're following along because they're stupid. It's because, like, shit, everybody has to go to work, and we're like kept as hungry as they can keep us, you know? We never get just enough. You know what I'm saying? They keep us oppressed just enough that the level of class consciousness that most people in America are at is that the election is a site of struggle. And the only way that the Communist Party can be relevant to the masses is if the Communist Party struggles with the masses. So this could mean going out and canvassing door to door with like a group of Democrats that are trying to get a state rep elected in your district. I mean, it's not very romantic, and it kind of sucks doing it. I used to like canvassing. I'm over it. I've done enough canvassing for my entire life. I don't ever want to do any canvassing ever again. 2 years ago, I injured my foot. I stepped in a hole and I broke my foot. And it's like, I just don't want to, I've fallen down steps. It sucks. I'm done trying to walk up and down people's front steps. Like, I'm done with that. But, you know, that's a relevant site of struggle. Where did I leave off? Sectarianism finds expression particularly in overestimating the revolutionization of the masses and overestimating the speed at which they are abandoning the positions of reformism and in attempting to leap over different stages and the complicated tasks of the movement. So, you know, you can sit there and be like, no, dude, we're over this. We don't need to do this anymore. What we need to do is, you know, we need to seize the means of production. Well, if the people are not there yet mentally, like, they need to go through the steps of making that decision for themselves. Millions of people need to go through the steps of making that decision themselves before you're ready for a revolution. And where we're at right now is kind of like walking side by side with people while they figure their shit out. That's what communists in the United States need to do. They need to walk hand in hand with the masses in their class struggle, whatever that looks like in your town. And in Warren, there are like lots and lots and lots and lots of things to do. There are lots of ways to struggle in this town. And I'm not going to suggest any because I think that everybody should get involved in something that is meaningful to them personally, because you'll make more of an impact. That's the best use of your time. If you want to struggle with the masses, just figure out like what motivates you and what is something in the community that you want to work on. For some people, that's helping homeless people. For some people, that's helping addicts. For some people, it's helping children. For some people, it's like gardening. You know, it's like whatever your thing is, do that to help other working people. and do it collectively. It's like this revolution stuff is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And it's not the work that you think it would be, right? It's spending time, a lot of time at churches with old people, because that's how you get things done. All right, 5 conditions we must explain to the social democratic workers patiently and in comradely fashion why political unity of the working class is impossible without these conditions. Okay, so what Dimitrov is saying is you got to have 5 conditions of the United Front. So from his point of view, you're the communist and you're trying to work with social democrats in your community. So let's say like progressive Democrats, right? They have the same goal that you have. You want to end the war in Iran. They want to end the war in Iran. You should work together. Dimitrov says there should be 5 conditions to the coalitions that you build with those progressive social democrats in your community. Number 1, complete independence from the bourgeoisie and dissolution of the bloc of social democracy with the bourgeoisie. Okay, so what does that mean? What that means is like the Chamber of Commerce is not fucking donating to your cause, okay? Like, you need to be free of corporate influence. It should be a 100% grassroots, people-powered. Do not be going to the Wien Foundation for a grant, okay? That's gonna be like, set you on the wrong path right from the fucking beginning. And if anybody wants me to go into detail about that, I would be happy to do so, but that's another whole video. Number 2, preliminary unity of action. Okay, so what that means is when one of you is doing something, all of you are doing it, okay? So that means if there is a protest going down, this is an easy example. If there's a protest, that means everybody goes to the protest. You don't say, oh, this is just a protest just for the communists, or this is a protest just for the people on the east side. No. Everybody means everybody. Unity of action. Everybody has to agree, all for one and one for all. Number 3, recognition of the revolutionary overthrow of the rule of the bourgeoisie and the establishment of the dictatorship of the proletariat in the form of Soviets as a sine qua non. I don't know Latin. Sine qua non. I don't even know what this means. Recognition of the revolutionary overthrow of the role of the bourgeoisie and the establishment of the dictatorship of the proletariat in the form of Soviets. Okay, this is talking about setting up Soviets, and that's like way too advanced. This is like talking about when you have a United Front government. So this is like you fight the battle and you already win and you're setting up your new government. You have to strip the bourgeoisie of their power. But that is not going to help you for the stage that we are at right now in Warren. Okay, so we're going to skip that step. Moving on. Refusal to support one's own bourgeoisie in an imperialist war. Okay? All communists oppose war. War is the enemy of the working class. Always. War always harms children the most. the elderly the most. The most vulnerable are harmed the most by war. And as far as classes, the capitalist class is completely insulated from the effects of war. They don't have to experience any privation. It's the working classes who suffer. The working classes are the soldiers who fight the war. The working classes are the casualties of war, etc. And the last thing that you need to do to set up a united front government is democratic centralism, which, whatever. Democratic centralism is what it is. I think you have to get a lot of people together before democratic centralism really even comes to the fore. But I have to say, I have tried all sorts of different methods of organization. I have tried consensus model. I've tried direct democracy, the parliamentary democracy, whatever. And democratic centralism is really growing on me. It's a really effective way of getting things done, I think. It's so nice to just have somebody be in charge. I don't know. Anyway, that concludes the speech. I hope you got something out of it. Again, go back and read it yourself. You'll pick up on something in it maybe that I didn't pick up on. And thanks for listening.